I once lost 20,000 in the stock market in less than a week. It wasn't entirely because I picked the wrong stocks, and it wasn't bad luck. It was because the energy I had around that money was rooted in fear. That painful lesson taught me the single most important thing about wealth. Money isn't just paper or numbers on a screen, it's a spiritual energy. And the best way to understand this energy is to think of it like water. Today, I'm going to share with you 4 principles for handling money like the flowing river it is. And stick with me to the end because that's where I'll share my full, painful details of my $20,000 loss and the fifth and final principle that could save you from making the same mistake. So now why do we need to think of money like water? That's because water itself is a very spiritual element. Water is essential for life and often brings a feeling of peace. It's used in some spiritual rituals for purifying and cleansing. It's also a huge reason why I had my own spiritual awakening. And here's something interesting. It seems like the people who created our money system already knew a secret. They know that money is a spiritual energy and is deeply connected to water. Just look at the words they use. For example, currency sounds like the current in the river. A bank is similar to a riverbank. When we talk about money that's easily available, we say it has liquidity, just like how we will describe water. And it's no accident we call it cash flow, because like a river, money that sits still becomes stagnant and can even be unsafe to drink. That's why the first principle is to keep it flowing. So what do I mean by this? In nature, water that doesn't flow becomes stagnant, murky, and harmful. That exact same thing happens to your money when you hold on to it tightly out of fear. This fear often comes from our past, especially if we grow up with little money or if our parents were very careful with spending and constantly worry about it. We might copy those same money habits or develop a deep-seated belief that having a lot of money in the bank makes us safe. But this feeling of security is based on the vibration of fear, not abundance. True abundance isn't about how much you have, it's about how much energy you allow to flow through you. Think of it like breathing. If you hold your breath trying to save air, you will only suffocate. You must breathe in and breathe out. Money is the same. It needs to be received and then used with purpose and intention. If you just gather a lot of money without spending or investing it, your money becomes stuck in the bank. You won't feel abundant because you're not using your money to do anything. It's just sitting there. It doesn't provide a sense of movement, which is natural for energy. Instead, it becomes a form of stuck energy. So the first principle for handling money is to stop gathering money like it's a still lake. Instead, start becoming an open channel for money to flow through you like a flowing river. Keep the money moving. And by the way, I'm Yong Kang. This whole topic is so important that I'm dedicating this whole month to spirituality and money. So welcome to the conversation. Now let's continue. For the second principle, I need you to forget almost everything you know about traditional accounting or money management. I say this because as an ex-accountant, I was professionally trained to see money as a number on a spreadsheet. It's either a plus or a minus, profit or loss, debit or credit, but this plus and minus way of thinking, while good for reports and analysis, keeps us stuck in the ego's perspective. It creates a mindset of scarcity and competition, making you believe that for you to have more, someone else must have less, or when the money in your account gets low, you are in danger. The truth is, money is a current. Think about a single $100 bill. You use it to buy a chair. The shop owner uses it to pay their staff. The staff member uses it to buy groceries. The $100 bill is never destroyed. It's still there. It just moves around, providing value for everyone. That is the true nature of money. It's not about your personal pile getting bigger or smaller. It's about the exchange of value between people. Money is meant to be moved around and circulated. It cannot be created or destroyed. That's because money is just a form of energy that can transfer based on the value you receive and provide. It's just a medium of exchange. If today we don't use cash, we can also use anything like seashells or stones to represent the same value. Scarcity is just an illusion. It's not about if I have more and you will have less. Everyone who is part of this circulation benefits from the money moving around. So stop seeing money as just a static number in your bank account. Your goal isn't to make it bigger. Your goal is to be part of the worldwide current and the circulation. So this leads me to the most practical principle yet. Principle number 3, tap the main river. So many spiritual people may feel like making money is an exhausting struggle. That's because we are trying to dig a well in the middle of a desert. We are creating something in a place where there's no flow, no energy, and no interest. A better approach is to find the massive flowing river where value is already being exchanged and simply carve a small channel for yourself. I did this with this very YouTube channel. Instead of posting video on my website from scratch, which is like digging in the desert, I came to YouTube, this platform with billions of users, audience who are ready to watch and learn something. That's the river. I then make video on topics that already have a strong current, like spiritual awakening, empath, and twin flame, which allows some of that existing flow to come my way. If I had started by making videos on a very obscure topic that only I care about, I would have found no momentum. That's also why I became a tutor after my spiritual awakening. There's already a demand for maths tutors. I just need to tap into the river and let some money flow to me. So you can look at your own personal project or ideas. Are you digging in the sand or are you positioning yourself next to the river? If you're struggling with money, it's all about repositioning yourself. Find a platform, a market, or a conversation that is already flowing with energy and just tap into that existing current. Especially when you're just starting out, it can make all the difference. So principle number 4 is expand your container. What do I mean by this? Have you ever heard those stories about lottery winners who end up broke, miserable, and worse off than before? This principle explains why. It's because their energetic container was the size of a teacup, and they were suddenly hit with a tidal wave. So let me explain. When it comes to the water element, it has a dual nature. It can be gentle, peaceful, and soft, but it can also be strong, powerful, and destructive. A gentle stream of water is life giving, but a flood is destructive. Money as spiritual energy works the same way. Our ego thinks it wants a lot of money, it wants a flood of money, but it never stops to ask if we have built the capacity to handle that much power without being swept away. This is why it's often easier to feel spiritual and centered when you have less. The more money that comes your way, the more you need to surrender and be open, the less attached to the money you need to be. Otherwise, you will just be consumed by that powerful energy. The issue is never with the money itself, it's our capacity to handle its power without the ego becoming attached or overwhelmed. So if you truly want more financial flow, the work isn't out there chasing it. The work is in here. You must progressively expand your nervous system, ability to handle more success, more responsibility, and more energy without losing yourself. This expansion has to be gradual. It all comes down to this. Be careful of what you wish for and be prepared to become the person who can actually handle a large influx of energy. So this brings me to the final and most important principle, the one that cost me $20,000 to truly understand. It is to master your emotional current. So what do I mean by this? Money itself is neutral energy, but it will absorb and make bigger whatever emotion you put into it. Money handled with joy creates more joy. Money handled with fear creates more loss. I learned this the hard way. During the 2020 pandemic crash, I did what so many people do. I glued myself to the news. Every headline, every video was about doom, disaster, and things falling apart. I let that global wave of fear become my own personal fear, and I started to panic. From that place of pure reactive terror, I sold my investments and I locked in a devastating loss of nearly $20,000. And you know what's the most painful part? Watching the market bounce back later, knowing that if I had been more grounded in trust instead of being reactive and filled with fear, the outcome would have been completely different. The lesson wasn't about picking better stocks. The true lesson was this: I had filled my money with the energy of panic, and it acted just as I feared it would. My fear became a self fulfilling prophecy. That expensive lesson forced me to change everything. Now, when I make my financial decision, I make it from a place of quiet confidence. And I completely disconnected from the noisy fear based news because the energy you bring to your money is always the result you'll get back. That painful lesson taught me that mastering your vibration is the most important financial skill you can have. If you're struggling with money, here are 5 steps to shift your vibration.